everybody out there. Just so glad to have you.
Of course, today is Church at Home, which is becoming a tradition for us. The last Sunday of the year, we're off. We're technically hanging out with family right now, pre-recording this. And yes, we are in our pajamas, as we hope all of you watching are also in your pajamas, just relaxing with church at home today.
As Americans, we're really just a very busy kind of people. And so we intentionally built in this particular Sunday to be a time of Sabbath.
Yeah,
You and I are off this Sunday, and
yeah,
all of our wonderful, beautiful volunteers are also off and spending time with their families.
yeah. Yeah, nice to take a little rest. It's funny how Sabbath works. We take a break and then God steps in and does a lot. And this is, in some ways, is a year of Sabbath. Um, uh, we had that, you wouldn't think of it as restful, but we had that car accident in the end of April. And that was actually sort of a Sabbath for us, wasn't it?
It was. It's funny because I spent 2023 in a conversation, an ongoing conversation with Jesus about how I was working too much and how I needed to really rest from.
2023, we were averaging between 60 and 70 hours a week, typically, both each of us.
Yeah. So my question kept, the Lord said, work less. And I kept saying, how? And he'd say, work
Yeah.
less. And I'd say, how? And
Who's
so,
going to do everything if we're actually working less?
yes. And not only working less, he said that I would learn to work differently. And so when we were T-boned in an accident, at the time I didn't realize it, but I had blacked out and then I was coming to. And then I hear Alex saying, okay, we need to get out of the car as soon as possible. Let's get our stuff. Donna, just hop over.
Yeah, come my way since
Come,
your door won't close. Of
yes.
course, you're barely breathing because one of your lungs is partially deflated. You've got three cracked ribs. Your liver is lacerated, and really the longest lasting effect, you've got a pretty severe concussion. Thank goodness, not from the side of the car, but from the side of the airbag. And so yeah, they put us in the ambulance, and I'm uh, I'm making a lot more noise because I've got a high ankle sprain. Nothing compared to what you had, but they put me in a gurney. They had you actually with help go into the ambulance, but I'm looking over and you're sitting there holding hands with our assailant, with the person driving the other car. You guys are holding hands and praying. Very sweet young lady who didn't matter, even though it sounds like, I'm kind of mad now. We were all, in a sense, we were all victimized by the same accident.
The Lord just said to pray with her and to pray for healing for all of us
Yeah,
concerned.
yeah.
And
But
it,
that became Sabbath rest for you. You
yeah,
don't
it
think of
actually
that
did.
as
I think I took off 5 weeks of work, and we have a wonderful volunteer staff, and everybody just pitched in, and I just had to let life happen. And
yeah,
the one thing I can totally say that I learned this year is that I am grateful to be alive. I'm grateful for all the blessings of my family, my church family, my friends. People haven't yet met, but I will get to meet because of the Lord choosing to let me live on this earth. One of the dearest sights I saw was our oldest son and his girlfriend came to the hospital, and you're sitting there with this horrible ankle injury, and he had gone to the store and bought you a ankle brace, and he's kneeling after he had just completed 7 weeks of walking the Arizona Trail, and so he's leaning over you on his knees, putting this ankle brace on, and I just thought that what a blessing that was, a blessing of family. Our daughter came down to pick us up in my brother's truck
yeah.
so that we could get back to Colorado.
Drove us all the way home from Farmington, New Mexico, up
Yeah,
and over a couple of mountain passes, and yeah,
yeah, yeah. It was
it
just
was surreal.
it was, and then just learning to rest and saying, It's okay. Things are gonna wait and things are gonna get much slower.
What's interesting too is, so you got the rest. God had been telling you to rest, and the joke is Psalm 23 says He makes me lie down in green pastures, and He made us, mainly you, lie down in a green pasture. And the church did step up, and I do think that sometimes God wants us to stop so that He can begin to fill the gap with other people. And the thing that amazed me is, you've had a heart. We both had a heart, but you've been overseeing ministry to Spanish speakers. We'd been ministering to some Venezuelans who we hadn't invited to church. They were walking in front of our church and invited them in for coffee and have become good friends. But you were unable to do your weekly day with that family, and so we thought, well, I guess that's just going to slow down. But of course, God had people step up. My sister Genevieve really stepped up and is now playing a lead role. And we have multiple. We have three Venezuelan families, and
Mhm.
and they're learning English, and we're very involved in their lives. Different people in the church are hiring them for various things because we need the help, but also they need the work. And you guys wanted to launch our Spanish-speaking ministry on Wednesday nights, and you did, except we didn't have any Spanish speakers. We just had a couple of us Anglos who had some Spanish speaking, but nobody was fluent. And that's how we started.
Right. We actually started showing Alpha which is a great program, national program on the basics of Christianity, the basic questions that people have, and encouraging discussion on these kinds of questions. And it was in Spanish. And so we showed that, and it was kind of interesting because at the beginning it was just only really the English speakers,
That's
but
all we had.
kind
Yeah.
of the team, the core that wanted to reach out to
Yeah, me and
our
you and Mike and Ellen and Jenny and Karen,
uh-huh. And I
and
think
praying that God would eventually bring.
exactly. I was just going to say the praying part.